So, yeah, the microphone is working. Sounds great. Okay. Um, Hello, also from our side. Procurement and supply chain collaboration is becoming more and more critical, more and more global, and more time critical than before. So also the expectation of our suppliers is increasing in regard of support, so instant support, and also in regard of digital self-service. And this is why we have integrated Supplier GPT, our AI-based assistant, into our Process Supplier portal. So it supports our suppliers with instant answers, onboarding guidance, and also process know-how. Today, I would like to give you a brief overview about Supplier GPT, which value it brings, which technology is behind of it, and also what we have learned along our way. And we are not talking about only efficiency, we're just talking also about how we transform the collaboration with our suppliers. My name is Michael Seifert. I'm the business product owner for the Process Supplier portal and also for supplier collaboration. And I'm the person who is driving this initiative forward at Brose Fahrzeugteile. And with me on stage is Majda Kupovic, the product owner for CSI for Auto at Capgemini. But before we go into the topic of Supplier GPT, I would like to give you some insights about the company behind, so Brose Fahrzeugteile, because if you understand the scale and also the complexity of Brose, you will see how we need such a solution in first place. So, Brose is one of the 5th largest family-owned companies in the world. In every third car, we have at least one Brose product, whether in lifting gates, in seating systems, and also in vehicle doors. So, and with our 32,000 employees across 68 locations and 20 located in 24 countries, we are just working in a real global environment. And naturally, with this global footprint and also with our high complex supply chain, we are just working in a right way with our suppliers. So this means our suppliers are also part of our success at Brose Fahrzeugteile. And this is exactly where our Supplier GPT comes in, and also our Brose Supplier portal to make the communication with our suppliers, with those suppliers, with the 3,000 suppliers, more faster, smarter, and at the end, more scalable. So the Brose Supplier portal is our foundation where we work on. So this is important to understand for you. So we introduced our supplier portal in 2022 together with Capgemini already, and it's our self-service platform, collaboration platform for our suppliers. So this is our digital entrance for our suppliers to all digital application and processes at Brose. Our supplier portal just provides single sign-on to the suppliers and also has a role management in place where the suppliers are able to work with their application based on their role. So if they are logistic, they get logistic application and processes. If they are in another department, they will get also other tools and applications provided. And at the end, all the accounts also for third-party applications are automatic provisioned, so this means the user accounts are created automatically. There's no manual need, whether from Brose, whether from the supplier, to interact here. They are all doing it in the Brose Supplier portal. And at the end, so the Brose Supplier portal is our digital backbone for our supplier digitalization strategy, and we build it on the SAP BDP platform, which is just a robust architecture here, where we can add more and more intelligent services. And one of that service is our Supplier GPT, I mentioned it already, our AI-based assistant for information and support for our suppliers. So it's directly integrated into the Process Supplier portal and using there the common services out of the Process Supplier portal. So this means the central identity management, the role management, and so we are able to, or we were able to put that quite smart into the supplier portal. We developed that tool into 2 months approach, so before they go live, only 2 months development time, and then we rolled out it to more than 500 users on our portal. So, and the goal of the Supplier GPT is there quite simple. We would like to make the supplier collaboration and the supplier self-service more faster, less and less dependent on email and on manual tasks. So why we need such a tool in first place? So the answer here is quite simple. So our suppliers, I have mentioned it already, they expect instant and fast and accurate support and across countries, across languages, so they always need it around the clock. And this is also where Supplier GPT comes in. So Supplier GPT gives our suppliers instant and precise answers, so there's no need to dig through travel documents, so they get the information directly in just a few seconds. And they will get it 24/7 and 24/7 around the clock. They will get it in their language where they need it, so it doesn't matter. So where you're located, you're in Mexico, you're in China, you're in Germany, you're just working here with the tool, and you can use it, and you will get the support in every county. Is almost the same. So the second or third topic here is we also tailored the answer based on the roles. So this means if you're in logistic, you get more tailored answers for your logistic area. If you're in quality, you will get more precise answers based on quality. And so we are using the processes, or the already available role management after the supplier portal to integrate it here quite fast. And also we're using that what is already available. You see it here in the short video, so how it's working. So you can also start with English, you can switch to Czech, and always you can, as you know from AI tools, you can also rate the answer of the chatbot. So this will help us to further improve also the chatbot. And Supplier GPT is launched currently as a pilot. So I mentioned it in February, we rolled it out to more than 500 users. And our timeline is so that we run this pilot together with our suppliers until July. And it's not just a pilot, it's just a co-development with our suppliers. And the goal here is quite clear. We would like to achieve high answer accuracy. We would like to increase the supplier satisfaction, and we would like to involve and invite our suppliers also to generate ideas for further improvements. And to do this, we're just using an agile approach, so where we iterative improve the tool based on the feedback from our suppliers. So our key is to involve the suppliers directly. It's not just a test, it's just co-development together with our suppliers to make Supplier GPT a success. And at the end, you see here the front end, but the services we are using are on the BTP, and we need also a strong backend, a technical setup in the background, and therefore Mike Jakubovic will give us some information about that.
So hello also from my side. It's a pleasure to be here with you, giving me the opportunity to show you how we developed it. So at the core of the solution is a retrieval augmented generation architecture that is based on SAP BTP's reference RAG model. Here on the right side, it's just a simplification in the Discovery Center of SAP. You see the full picture. So what's RAG? RAG is a smart, simple way to leverage existing large language models like ChatGPT but extend it so that it does not rely on the LLM training data. You can fine-tune the output by with your own training data, your own internal knowledge. So that means a first step is saving all supplier relevant information that is process specific into a HANA vector DB. How did we do it? First of all, we collected all the documents. Then we split the documents into smaller pieces, into smaller text chunks, transformed that strings into numerical representations and saved it into the HANA DB. That sounds complicated, and if you have to build it from scratch, it is complicated. Luckily, we have the BTP. We simply plugged all the services together, worked out of the box, and we could focus on what kind of documents do we want to have in, how to remove, let's say, personal information from the documents. So we were in the innovation directly at the business department and not, let's say, fighting the technical algorithms. So once we had that supplier relevant knowledge into VectorDB, what happens once the user asks a question like, what part number is used for IMDS samples? So if you ask that question to ChatGPT, you will get a generic response, but nothing process specific. So what we do, we take that question, we transform it into the same numerical representation and ask the vector engine, please find me supplier relevant knowledge in your database. And the vector engine finds it. If you want to know how, think back your high school time, cosinus similarity, it's the same but on multi-dimensional vectors. The vector engine finds the knowledge, and then we create a prompt for an LLM of our choice. You're a friendly chatbot, please be nice. Yeah? Answer that question with the supplier relevant knowledge of Brose. And then through the BTP, we ask an LLM, create me a response, and that response is then displayed exactly as Brose wants you to see it and not Sam Altman. Yeah? What was really fascinating here is at no point in time we did the innovation in the algorithms or the technology, so the business department was involved from day one. For example, what does it mean if the text chunks are big? So if you have big text chunks, then you have a novel in your response and not a simple answer. If you have small text chunks, then you have only a fragment of the answer. Also, to what extent do I want to include the supplier relevant knowledge in my answer? And at the end, what LLM to use? So do I need the latest, most creative large language model to create a sentence like that? Or can I use maybe an open source large language model that is cost effective? So those were, let's say, my personal highlights. The technology was extremely simple, so kudos to the neighbors as of SAP. Everything went perfectly well with the BTP. And maybe I hand over to you, Michael, maybe to give your view on your learnings of Supplier GPT.
For sure, but technology is not all. We should look also beyond technology. So what truly drives the success of just a tool? For sure, the digital backbone is important, but at the end, even the smartest AI won't give proper answers without any adoption and without any integration here in our supplier portal. And also our strategic partners like Capgemini made this a success because we are able with that tool to directly integrate it into our well-known processes, so directly into the process supplier portal, directly using the interfaces we had already, and so we are able to easily roll it out to 500 suppliers for the pilot group, but at the end we are able to roll it out to our 7,000 suppliers on the portal within just a few hours. And at the end, it's not only an IT project, it's about process integration, it's about change management, and it's also about usability. And this is what we have already in place with our process supplier portal. And this is one of our best practice, so we follow that step with user-centered design, so we just focus on that, what is truly needed for the users, which will use that tool day by day. So we're just using here the role management out of the supplier portal, and we made the interface quite simple and well-known from other chatbots. At the end, we're just using Agile implementation for that, so we start small, iterate and improve it based on the feedback from our suppliers. And from the beginning, we also considered the compliance and legal framework to also be here on the secure side. You know, here the EU AI Act, which needs to be considered. And I would like to give you some lessons learned we have achieved during our journey. So the first one is that data quality matters. So Maid has already explained it. So how the data will be structured. If you have bad data, you will also have bad AI at the end. So the data quality matters here in this case to get high quality answers and to achieve also our goals for a high answer accuracy, so at the end. And the second topic, that collaboration is essential. So I mentioned it, that we developed it in 2 months, and this is only possible if all parties here working together. This is just a cross-functional topic between IT, our partners, between the business and also legal. Otherwise, it won't be possible to do it in just a short time. And what we have learned also here quite fast, so AI development outpassed the regulations, so the innovation is quite faster than the legal frameworks in the background, and we have learned it here directly and on the hand. So in short, if you have the right ecosystem, so the right technology ecosystem, if you integrate it into your tools, your common tools, you do some consulting and governance, and then you are able to create a real value for the users, in our case, for our supplier users here on the supplier portal. And the value, you have seen it on the slide before for the process supplier portal, and we are just really sure so that Supplier GPT will boost here that 3 KPIs. So the faster supplier onboarding, you know, from your own company, maybe also from the supplier, there's almost the same. Users are changing, they need an onboarding, they need a guidance, and Supplier GPT helps here to get precise answers out of PDF documents, out of processes, so there's no need to run to processes, and they can directly ask here with a prompt the question and get the answers. There's no need to run several documents. The second thing is the reduction of manual effort. So at the end, there are a lot of manual support tasks which could be now automated with Supplier GPT, and yeah, both sides will get here time-saving possibilities, whether browser on our end, but also the suppliers on their end will save time if they get the answers just right the moment if they're needed. And at the end, we just expect a decrease in our support workload. So this means a significant drop in our incoming support tickets at the end. And so we are able to focus on the topics where which we cannot solve with Supplier GPT, where really human interaction is needed. So Supplier GPT at the end helps us to scale, simplify, and support better than at the end. And that's our answer to a more efficient and more connected supplier ecosystem.
So if you're interested in this solution, just come to us. We're here at the booth. Get the future you want is our motto. I think we should replace that now by get the chatbot you want. Yeah? So we're here available for your questions. Thank you a lot.